guys, how is everybody doing? Hope everyone is staying safe in this crazy world we're living in. So, welcome to the podcast. It's been a while. I have not been posting as much for several reasons. Uh, Main reason is you just got to watch what you put out there nowadays because there's no privacy. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know uh, what the companies, the monopolies know about us. There's no transparency. There's no way to see what they know and what they're doing. And yet we all use these tools conditionally every day. And we all have our photos on their servers. We all have our messages, our private life, our banking, our healthcare. Our tax records. There's so many. Our location history, where we go every day, the patterns that we do. They know everything about us, and yet we continue to use these tools because people don't realize what's going on. People are being manipulated. And, I don't know, man. We lost this war, man. The regular people have lost this war. And the police state is coming. It's a top-down police state that's coming. And, there's nothing we can really do. The only thing we can do is try to teach people that surveillance is wrong. People deserve privacy. And whether they want re-education camps, concentration camps, whether they're just going to get rid of people, that we don't know yet. But this is different from World War II, because in World War II, governments were getting rid of people. The disabled, the weak, the elderly, people who didn't agree, political dissidents. The government was getting rid of people like that, putting them in concentration camps. This is different. This is not government that's doing it. This is private companies that are funding this and involved. They're not necessarily doing it, but they have created the technology and the tools to do it. Okay? Tools like AI, tools like facial recognition. These are private companies and private equity firms that created this technology that the police state is currently implementing and trying to implement. I don't have any good answers here. The only thing that I can try to teach people the only thing that I can do personally is try to teach people, and maybe the next generation can try to do some good and try to free people. But the people currently who are in power, I don't think they're going to stop what they're doing. I don't think they're going to have an epiphany. I don't think they're going to have come to a realization that what they're doing is wrong, that the companies, what they're doing is not right. It's just not moral. It's not good. You can't have a society that is divided and against. I mean, look, guys, what does this mean? What does this mean? Well, look at North Korea. Anytime there's a tyranny, look at the countries that are currently under tyranny. North Korea. Neighbors turn each other in. There's no social trust. There's no trust. The communities are decimated. And the neighbors spy on each other and turn each other in. This currently happens in North Korea and some places in China, as far as I know. But it certainly happens in places like North Korea. There's no trust. There's dislocation. Everybody's against everybody. Everybody's fighting to get a piece of the pie. There's no coordination. There's no coming together. There's no wisdom. There's no intelligence. There's no difference of opinion. There's no uniqueness. There's no talent. And those people who do have uniqueness and talent have been locked out of the system. And that's done by design. The people who, I mean, listen, my conversation currently is being recorded and is being uploaded into a computer owned by one man, pretty much, right? I mean, that's the world that we've created. And we don't know. That's the truth. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know what the companies are building, what their profiles are saying. But it's really it's a terrifying prospect for freedom. But no, there's no social trust. There's just no freedom anymore, and that was done over the course of I'd say 30 years, starting with really starting with probably Bush or the end of Clinton's era, when really the destruction came with the signing of the NAFTA. That was really the beginning of the end, because what that did was globalized many corporations, and that decimated the middle class. So many corporations just simply went overseas and outsourced all the labor, and that created a imbalance. And anytime there's an imbalance, anytime there's kings and queens and a vast sea of peasants, you're going to have, I would argue, tyranny. Anytime there's such a wealth imbalance that people are against each other, right? Anytime that happens, you're going to have tyranny. That's my opinion. And the only thing that really made America different for a short period of time was the fact that you could have a middle class life. You could have the house, and you didn't need to go to years of college. You could have a family. You could get married. You could have kids. You could live relatively stable, and that's gone now. And it's my generation who has to deal with it. The boomers are not really affected as much because they're the ones who lived the um, the American dream. They're in power currently. They refuse to step down. They're 80, 90 years old, still on the throne. The young people need to have financial freedom. The young people need to create families, build homes, have children. And it's the boomers who are standing in the way of that and who are refusing to uh, finally let go and let the next generation move forward. Uh, and that's my opinion. I mean, so and you know, what do you do, man? What do you do when you don't have a future, when you don't see prospects? Um, well, you leave. You simply leave. Um, but if society is not doing good, then which society is not doing good, then what is the future? What is there exactly, right? Again, this is years of failed policy, and anybody who dare questions has been locked out of the system, has been purged out of the system, and that's why you get what you have now. The people in power are simply there because they conformed. The people in power are simply there because they conformed, they towed the line, they refused to question anything, and that is why you have what, let's say, what you have in Pennsylvania. You have the Health and Human Secretary who's a transsexual. I'm not against anything like that, but they're in power because they towed the party line. They didn't question anything. That's the system that has been created and set up. And, you know, it used to be you could question things. You could go out and you could have an opinion and not get destroyed by it. You could have an opinion and not be decimated by it. You can't do that anymore. As soon as you go outside and you say anything, you disobey or you question, you're immediately railroaded. You're immediately railroaded, and that's where we're at. That's where we're at. I mean, it's really tragic. It's sad and tragic, but it was, um, foreseen. It was foreseen. I mean, it's not surprising. Uh, this was done over the course of, I'd say, 30 years. You know, and that's why you get politicians not saying anything, and that's why you get politicians, the people in power, who are responsible um, for the collapse, the financial collapse. That's why nobody is saying anything, because they're guilty. They're in, there's nobody there to question, because the people who would question have been labeled a racist, have been, um, locked out of the system, purged out of the system. And the only people left are, again, the people who have towed the party line. And that's it, man. And the politicians are not going to do anything, man. They're not. It doesn't matter who you vote for, left or right. Um, it doesn't matter anymore. Uh, they have no empathy for the working class people, no empathy for people who've been destroyed by policies. And I don't know where this goes, man. I don't know where this is heading. Um, who knows, man? But that social trust, those social bonds, don't exist anymore. And that is a very important step. That is very important because in a healthy society, social bonds are there, right? Social trust is there. Social cohesion is there. You could trust your neighbor. You can trust the police officer. You can trust uh, just people in and around you. You can't trust people anymore. And that is a sign of the times. So that's where we're at. Now, all you can do, at least all I can do, is try to teach people and teach the young people. But really, the young people, I don't know. I think the young people are waking up, but it's very slow. Um, we're sitting here listening to music from 30 years ago, listening to the radio of music from the 80s, um, instead of doing the work and trying to fix the system. This is going to take people getting out off their ass and actually working together. This is going to take some serious work to fix this. Or else, um, what's the choice? The choice is famine, poverty, disease. I mean, there's really no other choice. There's no other choice. And the people who are going to fix the system will be the young people. But it will not be anybody who's gone through the system. It will not be anybody who has conformed their whole life and obeyed their whole life. It will not be somebody like that. It will be somebody who disobeyed. That's who it will be, who will fix the system. Not necessarily disobeyed the law, but disobeyed something. Disobeyed the rhetoric. Disobeyed the propaganda. Somebody who stands out and cares with empathy for the American people. And that's who it will be, who will try to fix the system. But the current people in power are not going to fix the system. They've been in there for 30, 40 years. A lot of them are in their 70s. I'm sure if they had something to say, they would have already said it. It will not be the boomers who are currently in power, who again, refuse to retire, refuse to step down. So, none of these people make sense. None of the people in power make sense. Anyway, that's all I got to say. I hope everybody's doing great. Hope you learned something from this podcast. Try to get on with your life. Try to, find some sort of freedom, man, because the system's collapsing. And that's all you can say. We're all sitting here listening to music from the 80s, dreaming of a different time when there's no new music, no new art, no new culture coming up because the system's been destroyed, because you can't make a living, you can't form families, you can't have a healthy society because the society's been destroyed, and it was destroyed from within. And so there's no good music, there's no good art, there's no good culture, there's no good movies. So we're all sort of daydreaming and listening to music from a different time. So anyway, hope everybody's doing good, man. Like, comment, share. Thank you.